Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sohum and today I'm reacting to Penitence by Ren featuring McKinna. And this is a recommendation that's coming from some of you across my various Ren reactions on this channel, so thank you very much. And for those of you who haven't been on this channel before, I do a ton of Ren reactions, so please go ahead and check those out, at your own time. There's tons of content out there of me boasting about Ren's genius, so there's no shortage of that here. And, I'm just excited to get into it. Based on the title alone, I can tell that this is going to be a very deep emotional song, as a lot of Ren songs typically are, and something to do with feelings of regret. Because when I think of penitence, I think of actions that I've done, I think of thoughts that I have that lead to certain outcomes, certain behaviors that I'm not satisfied with, that I have contrition, feelings of contrition towards, that I'm deeply regretful of. Maybe I feel some level of guilt. So maybe the song is about that. We'll see what Ren throws at us. But as I said, I'm excited to get into it. I hope you are as well. If you enjoy my reaction, please hit that subscribe button and give me some more recommendations too while you're at it. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into it.
Lately, I think I was over time in my chest, beating slower like the cloudy color of
what a visual.
them fading out, fading out. The heavy heart I carried went over your head and over mine.
Oh, that was beautiful. It's like Billie Eilish. Oh, this song is gonna make me tear up, I know it. It's already beautiful, visually.
I counted the days she left like a prisoner, etching markings on my skin with an old knife, scratching. You see, I wanted the physical to match the psychological, and yet no matter how hard I dug, I still could not match that pain.
Whoa.
I longed for reason.
Whoa. Oh my god, I'm going to tell you right now that I'm going to probably pause throughout this reaction. There is so much that I need to speak on just now. It's beautiful. What is the first, of course I pause it and then I immediately lose my train of thought. I mean, first of all, I want to highlight the fact that we hear regret and forget in these harmonized layers, so they're very clearly different than the narrative form that Ren is kind of overlaying the piano track with. So you have this immediate juxtaposition and highlighting of forget, of regret. So I like that there. And then this conversation about he's hurting himself physically to match the psychological pain that he's feeling from presumably a failed relationship. Oh my god. That is dark. Let's go. Let's go. I love this.
Scratching. You see, I wanted the physical to match the psychological, and yet no matter how hard I dug, I still could not match that pain. I longed for reasons, I sung with demons, I sat in a dark, dusty room, barely moving, breathing. I chewed through my own umbilical cord attached to her navel. I wanted to be separate.
What? What? That is such a unreasonably vivid image that he just painted right there, of wanting to chew through his own umbilical cord to be separate from, this almost source of pain that he has. Yeah, and umbilical cord implies mother, so maybe it's a failed relationship or pain that's being caused by the thought of his mother, or maybe it's just some general feminine figure in his life, potentially a past relationship, like I said. But he's singing with his demons, he's in the dark, so he's trying to find meaning out of all of the pain that was caused, right? He's etching into his own skin. So I think so far what I'm understanding is that there is a lot of trying to reconcile what happened with why it happened. Why did this thing go wrong? Can I separate myself from this pain, and how best can I do that? Chewing your own umbilical cord is just a raw image. How does Ren do it?
I want it to be separate.
Ooh.
I think my mind is leaking.
Ugh. These harmonies.
Solitude is so depleting.
I did it to myself. I know that you are faithful. I did it for my health.
Oh.
How come I'm still unstable? I'm falling far from hell. The suicidal angel who's lost my wings and fell. Falling so ungraceful, vanished into hell.
Oh my God. It's so beautiful. Molly, whoever you are, Molly, you are a beautiful, beautiful singer. You have such an amazing voice. And what she's singing about is, it's so real. I mean, the first line that she says right there is, I did it to myself, which is such a plain way to put it, because, oftentimes we conceive of pain as being something that's completely external and was kind of done onto us, right? So we externalize the pain without recognizing that we actually have a role to play in how we feel that pain internally. We can process it, or we can choose to hold on to it, let it fester, let it become worse. And oftentimes when we're dealing with a very tough situation, we don't deal with our emotions in the proper way. So when the external world does hurt us, our circumstances are more problematic, our minds can even make those things worse and catastrophize the issue, or hold on to negative emotions for longer than is ideal. And we end up being stuck in these kind of perpetual ruts, these negative cycles where we're making no progress, and now we blame ourselves for that lack of progress. So all of that from one line just shows how on the nose Ren and Molly are with their lyrics. God, I mean, again, I'm going to make the same comment. Externalizing pain, it makes sense to do because there's reasons why pain was done onto you, but sometimes we can almost multiply that pain internally. And so it is important to understand our own role and how we kind of process and deal with pain. So I'm just completely floored right now. And she sounds so much like Billie Eilish. I just can't help picturing Billie covering this song as well. So I just take that for what it is. Not an insult. I do like Billie Eilish.
The suicidal angel.
Suicidal angel.
Lost my wings and fell. Falling so ungraceful, vanished into hell.
Banished into hell.
I wish that I could stop crying. They say that the body is 70% water. I feel like I must have reduced mine by a considerable fraction. Newton's third theory states that for every action there must be an equal and opposite counter-reaction. And so I retrace my steps and try to find reasons in the arms of my demons, because I can't find meaning if I can't find meaning. A conundrum, leaning on my dom-nom, feelings how the news high, beaming when I hung from, ceilings when I run from, demons that are living in my head and escape, fate and decide to break.
My God. Where does Ren come up with this? It came out of nowhere. I mean, the cadence switch up, the rap flow, the melody over the top of this new melodic piece here. I mean, it's like a guitar kind of rhythm that we're hearing in the back. It's like plucked guitar. Oh my God, that meaning right there is amazing. I mean, he starts out with saying, the body is 70% water, and I'm crying so much that I'm actually reducing the amount of water in my body by a noticeable fraction, which is, again, an amazing visual. I love Ren's imagery. Like, he is a writer. He is very good at evoking images in your brain. So starting out with that, and then he describes Newton's third law and he applies it to emotion in such a creative way. I mean, so Newton's third law, right? To restate what Ren just said, is the idea that anytime there's a reaction, well, to have that reaction, there had to have been prior some equal and opposite counter reaction. So wherever we are now at this point in time, let's say mentally, it had to have been from a certain logical place. So, to have the mind state that we are at now at point Z, we had to come from some not random point A, but some describable point A. And to find out what point A is, you have to battle with the mental demons that we have in our minds. Because presumably, if you're dealing with some kind of psychosis, some psychological issues, mental health is at the forefront, you have to understand the mind to some extent, and it's really hard to do so. So you're constantly kind of running in circles with your demons, trying to intellectualize yourself, figure out what is going on in my own brain that's caused me to end up in this continually negative state of being. And I mean, it's so clever because you have to do that dance. You have to fight with your demons, be the light to that dark, to figure out, okay, why am I the way that I am? And if I can figure out why I am the way that I am, then I can begin that healing process. And it's so creatively articulated in this manner. I mean, the journey of self-love, self-growth, understanding the self, healing, it's a difficult one, and you have to confront your most challenging inner demons, literally the hardest parts about you, your inner child, to be able to finally overcome that hurdle. And maybe it's not final, maybe it's temporary, and you make 2 steps forward, it's 1 step back. There's always a continual dance. Even in High Ren talks about this, that there's a constant dance between the dark and the light, and as long as you can soften, you're probably on a higher spiral, a better trajectory in the long term. But it's a constant battle regardless, to find who you are through all of this suffering, right? And to create gradual healing. So, God, it's just amazing imagery. It's so genius. Arms of my demons cause I can't find healing if I can't find meaning in conundrum. Leaning on my dom nom, feelings how the news high, beaming when I hung from, ceilings when I run from, demons that are living in my head and escape. Fate and disapparate, evaporate, evacuate and then activate. Fate, but it cut the brakes. Now I'm driving my universe into a lake in the weight of the world, don't wait. We make mistakes when it's all a state. For goodness sake, a double take, but I don't want to eat that cake. I ruminate inside meaning to illuminate a dark mind. I communicate without speaking, and I've seen so much I went blind. I live in a lie with the lion inside, living a lie with the lion inside, and my mind is hungry for my sanity, I live in a lie with the lion inside, living a lie with the lion inside, and my mind is hungry and I don't know why. Oh my
Pressure
God.
drop, deep breath, time stops, ain't broken, etc. ... Pressure drop, pressure drop, pressure drop. I feel it consuming. I can't stop. ... The lines join the dots and
it's so beautiful. It is so beautiful, this song. There's so many lines that I could dissect there, but this line about lying in your mind, and there's a lion in your mind, right? Really clever. You like flip on the words there, but then that lion, it's starving inside and you don't know why it's starving. So it's constantly hungry. Your brain is constantly searching for answers. And even if you're doing the effort to try to find those answers, you can still end up in a deeper rabbit hole and create more problems out of the problems that you had. So your mind is lying to you in a sense, because you even are doing the work. You are trying to intellectualize, you are trying to heal, find meaning, and still there's more meaning to be had, which keeps you in this perpetual almost like rat race trying to discover yourself. And if you know anything about the human mind is one of the most complex natural phenomenon to exist. So it's almost completely irrational to figure out what is in the mind, because it is endless. It could go on forever and ever and ever, and you could be stuck chasing your demons, chasing this line, trying to find this meaning. It is such a crazy realization to make, and this song is so fucking good. Sorry for swearing. I'm really taken aback right now, and I'll make one more comment before I go back and unpause. It's this idea that I have about understanding the mind and the level at which you can understand the mind. I have this idea, I'm kind of workshopping it, so let me know what you think, that there is a minimum required effort for us to be able to confront whatever issues we have internally, mentally, and there is a probably upper limit. So there's a lower and upper limit to what we probably should be within in terms of our own understanding of the self. And I'll make the case for that and try to provide some examples to give you some clarity. So if there is an internal problem that you're feeling and you don't know why you're feeling that, the first bare minimum step to do is to try to investigate that. And that would be that lower limit. You need to reach some level of lower threshold to understand what it is your body's responding to, what it is your mind is focused on. Why are you emotionally reacting to some things? And you continually delve deeper and deeper into this understanding of the self, and that will bring you further along. But you have to be at this minimal threshold. If you don't reach this minimal threshold, this lower limit, then you're kind of living in this state of ignorance, and you're almost a slave to your own emotions, which is very problematic for a number of reasons, because you can be easily manipulated, easily swayed, easily impacted if you're not in control of your emotions or have minimal knowledge of the self. Okay? So if we agree that that's bad, let's also paint the other picture, this upper limit of understanding. If we spend a lot of time healing, trying to understand the self, intellectualizing all of our problems, figuring out where we went wrong, what we could have done differently, we could spend years, decades, our entire lifetime in this mental chase after ourselves, not realizing that it's actually digging us a deeper hole than we actually need to be digging in terms of practical living, in terms of happy life, because there's always a new problem that can arise, right? We addressed the first surface level thing, but it turns out there's 3 more Hydra heads right behind that one we just chopped off. So the way that these demons work is that by engaging with the demons, you actually allow them to grow, right? The problems, if we want to use that analogy, the problems are the demons. And if we kill one demon, more crop up. And that's why they have so much power over us, because we don't recognize that giving them our time, giving them the attention is what actually gives them life. Acknowledging the demons just by being emotionally reactive or being intellectually preoccupied with it is a very surefire way to keep us depressed, keep us in our negative affect, prevent us from true healing. And this harkens back to Ren's High Ren, because even in that song, he talks about needing to soften, because there is this eternal dance between the light and the dark. So we need, honestly, to take a step back from our own selves. We can intellectualize to a point where it is problematic. And I think there's even growing forgive me if I get it wrong, psychological or psychiatric literature that's out there that speaks to this idea of over-intellectualizing our problems to the extent that the problem was pretty small and we just talked about it, ruminated over it for too long, catastrophized it to the point that we actually made no progress. Another analogy I can draw is that being perfect is the enemy of the good. Instead of doing something and making a marginal improvement, we wait to try to find the solution to every little problem in this theoretical mental landscape, when in reality that will just get us stuck in our theoretical mental landscape for far longer than we actually need to be to live a healthy and happy life. So that is what I'm describing as the upper limit, and healing and growth can happen within that. If we exceed that upper limit, we spend too much time and we maybe even made the problem worse. And if we don't reach that lower limit, we're still neglecting ourselves. So this balance that Ren is kind of drawing our attention towards, I don't know if any other artist has ever spoken about it in this way. I am completely floored.
With the lion inside of my mind, it's hungry and I don't know why. Pressure drop, deep breath, time stops. A broken, etc. ... Pressure drop, pressure drop, pressure drop. I feel it consuming. I can't stop. ... The lines join the dots and I'm tying knots. Then divide and multiply. Square the root of pi, beat the buzz. So I tried to keep my mind focused on the line. Hopscotch and...
Oh my God! I'm gonna be a nerd for what it takes here to explain this. Did you guys understand this part? Square the root of pi, divide and multiply. I mean, we've had some motif of math throughout this whole track with the fraction in his fraction of the water in his body, right? And now he's talking about dividing and multiplying. But it harkens back to that same idea I just brought up about having so many problems. If we continue to fight these demons multiply, they divide, they metastasize, they go through cellular mitosis. They do so many things except die, really. So we finally have this problem that we're addressing, and it's good that we address it, but we do it too much. And now they're multiplying past what we're capable of handling. Think about the next line right here. This is fucking brilliant. Square the root of pi. I can't pause it right there on the exact line. But he says, square the root of pi. My God, this is one of the most brilliant musical lyrics I think I've ever heard somebody say. Square the root of pi. So forget about pi for a second. What happens when you square the root of something? It's just itself. So if you have square root of 2 and you square that, you'll just get 2 in the end. So whatever 2 was, that was actually the original thing. But we did all of these extra operations on top that just got us in the same place again anyways. So if you take that mathematical analogy and apply it to our emotions, apply it to our problems, you can see that, oh, if we do all of these maybe unnecessary operations, we started in a place of pain and we end up in a place of pain and regret. We didn't actually make progress. We thought we did, but we almost fed into the problem itself by doing all these operations and not actually addressing anything at all. To be able to address the problem is to remove oneself from the problem entirely, not be attached. Be detached from the ego, be detached from the outcome. So now you understand that mathematical property of squaring and rooting. Think about pi. Not apple pie, not any other pie that you may enjoy. Think about the mathematical pi. Pi is infinite. And an infinite number that it cannot be quantified in a fraction readily is an irrational number. So God, pi being irrational here and attributing that to problems that we have, psychological issues that we go through, means that Ren is making the claim that our problems, these mental issues that we often deal with and understandably need to contend with, at their root are irrational. And we could spend years going through these problems mentally, but we will never fully understand the nature of pi because it is endless. It is infinite. We don't have enough cognitive resources to understand pi. It is just one of the natural mathematical phenomena that exist in our universe, similar to the golden ratio, the Fibonacci sequence. That is what pi is. It is irrational. Even though it's beautiful and it's problematic and we want to understand it, it is ununderstandable. Yeah, that's the way I'll say it. So trying to make sense of something that's ununderstandable by performing all of this operation, doing all of this mental work, spending all of this time is good and worth it and gives us some level of understanding, but it's also a fool's errand and can cause us even more grief. And so at least having the knowledge of that gives us tools to work with to understand our mind in a practical way. Otherwise, again, we will be stuck in a constant loop of pain, a constant loop of regret, making what seems to be progress, but stuck in the same negative emotional state. Our vibrations remain low, and we don't accomplish the goals that we have set for ourselves and really achieve some level of peace and stability in life. So that one line right there, square the root of pi, is genius. Genius, sir. Genius.
I feel it consuming, I can't stop, dot the dot, the lines join the dots and I'm tying knots, then divide and multiply, square the root of pi, beat the puzzle. I try to keep my mind focused on the line. Pop scotch and pop rocks, I take shots of teardrops. When I drop a pill pop, I find peace and time stops.
I am just so impressed. Ren is just something else. To create a song like this, the lyrics are the way that they are. I don't know what... I mean, this man has genius running through his blood, through his veins. There is not one imperfect thing about Ren. He is so real. He is... how do I describe what I'm thinking right now? At the end right there, he's talking about hopscotch, pop rocks, teardrops, shots of teardrops. These are all to me, I could almost also I could kind of paint the picture that these are all things that serve as distractions in our life. And these distractions take us away from addressing the problems that we have, potentially. That's one way to put it. It's also maybe this idea that like pop rocks and hopscotch, these are kind of like younger, childlike activities, and then taking shots of teardrops and kind of wallowing in our sadness is more of an adult activity. So we went from doing happy things to now doing sad things and kind of romanticizing our own pain. And why did we do that? We had a happy life, and now we're just causing more pain, letting ourselves suffer with no reason. I wonder which one it is. I mean, I feel like there's so many ways to interpret this song that I'm sure you have your own interpretations. So please let me know in the comment section down below what you thought about this song, because on all levels, it was beautiful. I think melodically, exquisite, rhythmically across the sections when Ren goes into his kind of speech rap style, I'm also taken aback. I mean, every part of this song spoke to me in a different way, and I am so happy somebody recommended this to me. Thank you so much. What a beautiful piece. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the reaction. If you did, hit the subscribe button. Leave me some more recommendations down below. And yeah, have a great rest of your day, everyone. Take care and peace.